So I get in my car and I speed to that daycare. Like, I was going 90 and the police was right behind me with their sirens going. Cause I'm just like, man, I don't give a fuck about the speeding zone. Like, I'm zooming in and out of traffic. Like, nah, police right behind me. Get to the daycare. Sure enough, Darius, ugly ass truck parked right there in the front. The truck parked right there in the front, and he was standing at the door, and the director was inside of the building, not letting him in the door. They was like right there, and Darius was yelling. So I whipped behind his car, put it in park, and I ran up, and I was like, hey, you can release Kion to me. And the officers was coming up too, and Darius just like, oh, you brought the police? I'm like, you can release him to me. And the director was just like, okay, what is going on? I was just like, we just got into an argument, and like, you can release him to me. Like, I'm gonna pick him up. And he was like, no, I'm picking up my son. Like, I'm picking up my son. And I look at the officers, and I was just like, can he do this? Like, can he do this? He was just like, well, is he the dad? I was like, yes. He was like, did he sign the birth certificate? I was like, yeah, but we didn't establish rights, because in the state of Georgia, like, even if the dad does sign the birth certificate, if y'all are not married, that dad does not have rights to the baby. He has to establish rights to the baby. So I thought that was true across the board, because I ain't never lived outside of Georgia before. This is my first time outside of Georgia. It was just like, no. In the state of Maryland, if the dad signs the birth certificate, the dad has rights. So I cannot not release him to him. Like, y'all would have to come to an agreement on who he needs to go with. I was just like, after everything that just happened, you telling me that he still can get my son? And he was like the officer just like, there's nothing I can do with this. Like, he has rights to your child. Like, I can't just say you can't take the child. And I'm just like, well, what about the other kids? Like, what about the other kids? And he was like, what? The Jackson and King was sitting in Darius' car. And I was like, are those his kids? I was like, no, And they was like, yes, both of those are my sons. They are my sons, and they're not going with her. They're going with me. And I'm like, no, Jackson is not his. And he looked at me. He's like, oh, so he not mine now? And I looked at him like, hell nah, he ain't yours. And I looked back at the officer. I'm like, that is not his son. And I'm just like, and King, he don't have rights to King. And then he looked at the officer looked at Darren. He was just like, is the other child your son? And he was like, yes, that's my son. She can't take him. The officer looked at me. He was like, well, are you the mother of that child? And I was like, no. He's like, okay, so right now, all we can do is let you get, what you say your son's name was, Jackson? That's the only kid that we can let you get right now. I was like, what do you mean? You mean like I can't stop him from getting Kion, and I can't just take King with me, like, after everything that happened? He was like, unfortunately, like, no, he has rights. He's his father. He has rights. And I'm like, yo, this is some bullshit. I'm just like, fuck. So I'm like, ain't nothing I can do. He was just like, there's nothing that you can do right now, ma'am. I'm like, fuck. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get Jackson. I'm gonna get Jackson. And he was like, you not get him out my truck. And I'm like, you hear this? And I was like, calm down, sir. She can get her son out of your truck. And he's like, no. Okay. So I'm walking over to the truck. I opened the back seat door, and I was like, hey, Jackson, come on. Jackson looked at me, and then he looked back straight. I was like, Jackson, come on. Like, you're going to come with me. Jackson was like, no, I'm okay. I was like, Jackson, like, come on. You're coming with me. He was like, no, I'm gonna stay right here in the truck. Dad said stay in the truck. I'm going to stay in the truck. I was like, Jackson, look, son, I need you to look at me. Like, look at me. He was scared to even turn his head to look at me. And I was just like, why is he so stiff? And then I looked to my left, and D was glaring in the truck. Like, he was glaring at Jackson through the window. And I'm like, Jackson, son. And I touched his hand. I'm like, son, look at me, Jackson, baby. look at me. And then he slowly started turning his head. I'm like, look, I need you to come with me. It's going to be okay. Dad is not going to do anything, okay? But I need you to trust me right now, okay? I was like, can you trust me? He was like, but I'm scared. I was like, look. Don't be scared. Do not be scared. You see these officers right here? They're going to make sure we get in the car, okay? When we get in the car, we're going to come up with a plan, okay? But I need you right now to just trust me and come with me, okay? Can you come with me? Then he slowly nodded his head. So I started to pull him out of the truck. Like he was walking. So he was like moving slow. But I'm like, Jackson, it's okay. Like, come on. And then he got down, closed the door, looked to his right. Darren was just glaring at him. And I was glaring at Jackson. I'm like, not glaring at Jackson, glaring at Darian. And I was like, Jackson, come on, let's go. Like, don't look at him. Come on, let's go. And I put Jackson in the car. And I looked at the officer. I'm like, so there is nothing I can do about the other two kids. And I was like, unfortunately, no. I was like, okay, all right, thank you. And I got in the car and I sped off. And I'm just like, I don't know where I'm going, but I need to go somewhere. I need to figure something out. I got to do something. And then Pop called me. When Pop called me, I answered the phone. He was like, did you get the boys? Everything okay? I was like, I got Jackson. I was like, when I got to the Karate Academy, he had already got King and Jackson. And then we went to the daycare. I told them to hold off on let him get them. And he was standing outside the door. But the officer said that I couldn't keep him from getting them because he had rights to them. So I only have Jackson with me. He was like, where you going? I was like, I don't know. I'm like, I don't know. I'm just driving around. He was like, okay, come over here. I was like, okay, all right. And I hung up. When I hung up, like I'm driving, like, okay, I'm going to Pop house. I'm like, no, he's going to know that I went to Pop house. He's going to expect me to go to Pop house. I need to go somewhere else because I need to figure out how to get the other kids. Like, I need to figure out how to get the other kids. So I turned and just started driving. Like Jackson, I need to come up with a plan. We need to come up with a plan, but it's going to be okay. I'm like, look, it's going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. And Jackson's like, Mom, but what about Kaya and the King? I'm like, look. Everything's going to be okay. I need you to trust me right now. Everything's going to be okay, all right? It's going to be good, okay? Be good, okay? He was like, okay, Mom, okay. I was like, all right. And I'm just driving, and then I get an alert on my phone, and I look down, and it was the tracking app. It alerted me to let me know that somebody had viewed my location, the car's location. Because how the app works, when you open it up and you refresh the location to see where the car is located, it sends an alert to the phone that that app is on that, like, hey, somebody looked at where your car location, whatever. So I'm like, fuck, he got my location. I'm like, oh, what am I do? Okay. I'm gonna go. You know what? I'm gonna go get a rental. I'm like, fuck, but where can I get a rental from? Because he got my location. So if I pull up in a rental car place, like he gonna know what kind of car I'm in. I'm like, no, I can't. I'm like, no. I'm like, you know what? BWI, the airport. I can park my car in the garage and go and get a rental and leave the car right there. And he has to find me. He has to figure out where I got the rental from.